doesn't feel like you can win sometimes. Just when we were hoping to put some of this food inflation in the rearview mirror, nature throws us a curveball. So, you know, up till now, we've really been struggling with the price of beef due to the cost of production. The cost of the feed has been higher. Drought contributes to that. The price of fuel that farmers need to use keeps going up, and the price of labor has been very unstable. And so those things have all driven beef prices higher. They've constrained production, and we've seen these higher prices. The forecasts were for many of those things to stabilize over the next 6 months. So we all were sort of forecasting and hoping for a little bit of price relief on beef come this winter. But now, of course, we have this specter of a new health problem. We have this screwworm problem, which was a huge catastrophic problem for the beef industry in the 1800s and 1900s. We largely eradicated it in the 1980s through 2000.
Right.
And so at the moment, it hasn't dramatically impacted the beef prices. We have about 5% of our beef comes from Mexico. Right now, we're not importing that beef as a precautionary measure. So our supplies shrunk even by 5%. And of course, all this uncertainty causes speculators to pay more for the future of beef.
Let's talk about what happens if this screwworm, as we have talked about, does make its way into the U.S., even to one herd, because it could have a real chilling effect.
Yeah, well, it's a parasitic fly. It absolutely, if it infects herds here in the U.S., it has the potential to spread very quickly, and it can create a huge amount of waste in the food supply. And so we could see much higher prices than we see now. Now, at the moment, no cattle have been affected in the United States yet. So this is a risk. But we're taking some pretty extreme actions and making some pretty significant investments to try to protect us from that at the moment.
Yeah, it seems that smart money is on that, of course. Okay, so beef prices, we've heard from shop owners, consumers at an all-time high. Let's talk about how this can kind of compare to the egg price surge that we saw not long ago, because that was triggered by avian flu to a degree, and prices did come down significantly. Do you see that happening with beef prices, or are they just going to be out there for the foreseeable future?
No, it is going to play out a little differently. For better or worse, the time cycle of egg production is very fast. So when something catastrophic like that avian flu hits the herds, the flocks rather, the impact is very fast. And when we solve the problem, the price can come down very quickly.
Right.
The time frame of beef is much slower. The cattle take much longer to grow, and so we would actually see the impact affect us much more slowly, and we would see the impact go away much more slowly. So if this does impact us, it very likely is sort of a 2 to 3 year horizon while we work through the problem, whereas the egg supply, once we got enough birds online, alleviated very quickly.
You know, eating red meat is a time-honored tradition in the United States. Do you expect to see consumers' habits changing when it comes to buying meat, especially if prices stay elevated?
We do. We always see, whenever there's economic uncertainty, whenever there's economic headwinds and people are worried about their economic future, one of the leading indicators we see is people trade out their proteins for more affordable proteins. So the big retailers, the big grocers can instantly see sales of chicken go up and turkey go up and sales of beef and pork go down. And so certainly demand is very elastic based on price. If the price stays high or the price goes even higher, you can expect a fair amount of Americans to choose beef less often.
Okay, now we're going to go to our unfair question. I want you to look into the crystal ball and tell me about these concerns. Your thoughts, how long will these higher costs be around, and do you expect to turn around before 2026, say?
Yeah, well, so predicting the future is always very hard, but I'm a bit of an optimist here. I think we're taking the problem very seriously. We've cut off all the beef imports from Mexico. We're investing in a $750 million factory to make these sterile flies in Texas. This is how we eradicated the problem in the United States in the 80s. And again, the flies haven't made it to the U.S. We only had a carrier, human carrier come in, which is extraordinarily rare and very low risk.
Yeah.
So my suspicion is, while this is a concern, that we're not going to get the worst case scenario. And that being the case, as we come into the winter months, we get more water, the cost of feed comes down a little bit, more cattle ranchers are investing in cattle because they're making a lot of money on cattle. I still think it's possible that we could see some price relief and some lower prices on beef come this winter. At least that's certainly what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I think a lot of consumers would take that in a heartbeat. Jason Goldberg, thanks so much for your insight. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.